Hello and welcome to today's session on understanding geography with diagrams. Today we'll be talking about the central place theory. Now, what is the central place theory? See, in geography, we have a topic called settlement. Settlement is nothing but study of the habitation or the study of the habitat in which the human resides. Now, when a human resides in the habitat, what happens is that every habitat has its own unique features. Every habitat shows some kind of dependency, every habitat shows some kind of interconnection. Habitats such as a town, a village, etc. Now, central place theory is also one of the theory that analyzes the settlement. But what actually is central place theory analyzing? First of all, the Walter Christaller, a German geographer, proposed his theory of the central places in his book Central Place in Southern Germany. Now, the CPT, or nothing but the central place theory, is an attempt to explain the spatial arrangement, size, and the number of settlement. What is the spatial arrangement? Means at which space they have been arranged. Means what is the location on the surface of the earth. On the surface of the earth, I can say Bhubaneswar is right over here. On the surface of the earth, again I can say Hyderabad is over here, New Delhi is over here. This is something like called the spatial arrangement. Size means what is the area again, and number of settlement means how many settlements are there. Now let us understand the concept of centrality. Concept of centrality, that is the most important, that is importance of a center as a focal point, which is determined by the variety of the quality of the goods and services it provides, inflow of population into the CPT, etc. See, centrality of the place means it's nothing but the importance of a place. Let us consider Bhubaneswar. Now, Bhubaneswar is a place. Now, how far Bhubaneswar is important? Now, Bhubaneswar importance or Bhubaneswar centrality can be determined by the goods and services Bhubaneswar provide. It can be certain kinds of the unique goods and services that it is providing, and also that how far the Bhubaneswar is a central place also depends upon the how much population is coming into the BBSR. This is very simple. Next, the centrality of a place. The centrality of a place refers to the extent to which a settlement serves its surrounding, that can be measured in terms of goods and services offered. Please understand this basic difference. This says that centrality means that nothing but the importance of a center, and it is determined by the goods and services provided as well as the inflow of the population. This says that centrality of the place. Centrality of places says that the extent to which a settlement serves. Let us say this is Bhubaneswar. Bhubaneswar has Apollo Hospital. Apollo, being a specialized hospital, has very much good facility for the corona surgery, sorry, for the heart surgery. And in that case, we can say that Apollo Hospital serves Balyanta, a village nearby to it. We can also say Apollo serves, again, Apollo in Bhubaneswar serves Baranga, again a region very near to the Bhubaneswar, in between Cuttack and Bhubaneswar. Simple. It says that centrality is directly proportional to the rank of settlement. What is the rank of the settlement? See, settlements are ranked. Example, I would say that we have a concept called mega city. A mega city where the population is almost equivalent to a 1 crore. We also have a metropolis where the population is greater than 10 lakh, etc. So in this context, we can say that mega cities such as the Delhi, Mumbai, they have an equal category. Then I can say cities such as your Bhubaneswar, Cuttack, etc. So this is the rank of the city or the rank of the settlement. Centrality of the goods and services refers to the goods and services, central place provides, which could range from the low end to high end. It simple means that or you can say that which end from the low cost goods to the high cost goods. Example, a Mercedes car, or we can say a soap bar. The complementary area is the area for which the central place is the focal point. It can be an area which is nearby to the central place. It says that the area would be larger and bigger and more important for the central places and smaller for the less important one. So basically, a central place would be very bigger for a larger area, whereas it would be smaller for a smaller area. This is the simple logic. Threshold population. See, It says that this is the minimum number of people required to support any goods and services outlet established at the central point, as shown in this figure. Just simply understand this with an example. I would say is that Bhubaneswar has a Mercedes car showroom. Now, for this Mercedes car showroom to exist, people must purchase this Mercedes car. So basically, it says that what exact population of people is required to to serve for the survival of this particular establishment, that is a Mercedes car showroom. I would say that it depends. That is what it's called as the threshold population. Threshold population is nothing but the number of people which is required to support any goods and services. How do they support the goods and services? By demanding. It is simple. So we can this statement can even be written as this much is the minimum number of people required to support any goods and services. If you are not writing this point, it's so far so good. No issues with that. Next, the range of the goods. Range of the goods is the maximum distance that a consumer is willing to travel to obtain certain goods and services. And this is calculated in terms of time and money. It is very simple. Again, next, for goods and services of daily consumption, one would travel short distance, say less than 1 kilometer. Whereas when it comes to luxury good, one would travel for more than 100 kilometers. Let us say this: I want a soap bar. Now, this particular soap, it can be available in the nearby grocery store. Now, if I want a Mercedes car, so obviously a Mercedes car would be available in the Mercedes showroom. Now, supposingly I'm at present is posted as Jagatsinghpur, Jagatsinghpur. Now, it would be difficult for me to find a Mercedes car showroom near Jagatsinghpur. So obviously, I have to travel to Bhubaneswar to get this Mercedes car. This is the simple logic, nothing else. Now, Christaller based his theory on the set of following assumptions. See, till now, most of you would have the doubt. So again, we are not able to understand what is the central place theory. See, the central place theory is nothing but it analyzes the settlement. What is the settlement? It analyzes there is a big settlement, there can be small settlements. What is the relation between this big and the small settlement? How the big settlement is providing services to the small settlement? What services is the small settlement providing? Is it providing the sufficient services like the big settlement or less than the big settlement? This is the basic thing that the model actually tries to highlight. So for Christaller to establish or to describe his model, he took certain assumptions. These assumptions are nothing but to simplify the model or to make the model very simple for the people to understand. So first of all, he says that there is an isotropic plane. What is isotropic plane? None but a flat surface. He says that our settlement is nothing but a flat surface. There are no mountain, there are no plateau, etc. Demand for goods and services is constant. Simple. There is no excess profit done, perfect competition. There is no single means of transport and transport cost rises proportional with the distance. Again, consumers being the rational economic creature would visit the nearest central place to get the goods and services. Very easy to understand. What is this rational economic creature? Rational economic creature means that let us say that let us say I want a soap. Now the soap particularly is available near a grocery store and soap particularly is also available 5 kilometer distance at a Reliance retail store. Now in this condition what will happen is that I will obviously prefer the soap that is being available in the nearby distance. Why would I go to a Reliance or a Reliance this Reliance store which is 5 kilometer distance from my location to purchase a soap when the same soap is available near to me? This is a simple thing. Next, the central place hierarchy act as a closed system. What is a closed system? A closed system means there is no incoming and there is no outgoing. Simple. Again, every settlement to be a central place, that is the marketplace, provides goods and services to its own population along with the population of the low ranking settlement. It simply means that if this is Bhubaneswar, then Bhubaneswar will not just provide goods and service to its own population but also to the population that are coming from outside or from, we can say, the lower order settlement. Simple. Next, what is the hierarchy of the central places? See, understand this: lower order center, lower order goods and services with threshold. Intermediate center, it will provide intermediate goods and services with intermediate threshold. What is this threshold? Population, we had already talked about. high order center, we also have the higher order goods and services with the high threshold. Now, sphere of influence. What is the sphere of influence? See, let us take the example. We have a Esplanade Mall, where in BBSR we have a Esplanade Mall. Now, when we say the sphere of influence of this Esplanade Mall, it means that up to what distance is Esplanade attracting its consumer? Simple. Up to what distance is the consumer being attracted towards the Esplanade Mall? That is called as the sphere of influence. Now, I'll tell now what happened is that in the beginning, what Christaller did was that he said that the sphere of influence would be circular. He said that every person or every supplier or every seller, they will first of all place themselves at equidistant position. Why equidistant position? To avoid competition, and so that they can cover a proper area. Now with this, what happens is that he drew circles around it. Now this is his sphere of influence. Just as I was saying the example of the Esplanade Mall, he said that these are the sphere of influence. Now the question comes is that, now look at this diagram. When this is the sphere of influence of, let us say, shop 1, shop 2, shop 3, shop 4. Now within the sphere of influence, you can see that there are certain areas which have been left out, or we can say it as the unserved area. Means this area is not being served. Hence, for simplicity, what he did was that we will read the statement right now. However, the gap remains between the sphere of influence. Hence, for simplicity and to include the leftover area, Christaller modified the circular sphere of influence to a hexagonal sphere of influence. Simple. Higher order centers have bigger hexagonal market area, and lower order centers have the smaller hexagonal market area. Simple. What is this market area? Market area is nothing but your sphere of influence. Or if you want to write that the higher order center have a bigger sphere of influence and the smaller order center have a smaller sphere of influence. So far, so good. No issues with it. Next. Analysis of the higher order and the lower order settlement. Christaller said that every hexagonal sphere of influence of higher order system contains within itself the sphere of influence of lower order settlement. It says that, let us say this is Bhubaneswar and this is the sphere of influence of the Bhubaneswar. It says that Bhubaneswar itself, what it will do is that and that is, let us say that this is the Baranga over here. It says that Bhubaneswar will not just in Bhubaneswar as a main center will include not just the sphere of influence of itself but also the sphere of influence of the lower settlement. Simple. Hence, to analyze this, he devised 3 principles. First principle was K3 equals to marketing principle. What is this marketing principle? In the marketing principle, he presumed that placing of the lower order settlement around a central place at the corner of the hexagon, making each lower order settlement equidistant from the 3 higher order settlement. This is the example. It says that this is a higher order settlement. Let us place 6 lower order settlement around the higher order settlement. It says that the rational economic creature, who is the rational economic creature again? The consumer, or we can say, let us consider us. The consumer in this adjustment will divide themselves into 3 parts, with the central place receiving 1/3 of the population of each lower ranking settlement, and as such, therefore, including its own population of each settlement, will serve the 3 settlement in total of k equals to 3. Please understand this. See, I will say that this is a higher order settlement. Done. It says that if this higher order settlement is placed around lower order settlements, it says that the population that this particular lower order settlement, that this particular higher order settlement will serve is equivalent to 1/3 of the population of each of these 3 lower order settlement, and plus one population that is nothing but the population of itself. So it's a simple equation. 6 into 1/3 equals to 2 plus 1, that equals to 3. That is, each settlement or each higher order settlement will serve one third population of the lower order settlement plus 1. 1 is nothing but the population of its own settlement. Simple. So basically, basically if you are having difficulty in understanding, I would simply say that mark this up. This is not such a big equation that you need to remember, and basically it says, basically just understand the concept. Again, K equals to transport principle. In a variable adjustment for identifying the development of the lower order settlement along the transport routes connecting the higher order settlement, Kristaller developed this transport principle. If you are not writing this, also it is fine. But still then if you want to write, it's also no issues. K equals to 4. In this spacing, or spacing means arrangement or the location, evolves equidistant profile with the two higher order settlement. The population tends to get divided into two parts, making central place receive half of the population of each lower ranking settlement. Combining it into the population, each central place serves 4 settlement. K equals to 4. Understand the concept. These are two higher order settlement. Let I will call this as BBSR and I will call this as Cuttack. Both BBSR and Cuttack are the twin cities. Now in between these two cities there are many small settlements. Let us say we have the Full Nokhara that is famous for the Pahado Rasagola. Again we have over here small places such as this Niali and etc. It says that what will happen is that with respect to this, that each population will be divided into half, means this bigger central place will serve half the population of the smaller order settlement place, plus it will also serve one population of itself. So basic equation equals to 1 by 2 into 6, that equals to 3 plus 1, that equals to 4. Simple. It says that apart from serving half of the population of the lower order settlement, it will also serve one population of itself. So basically what you saw is that in case of the marketing principle, it was serving one third of the population of the lower order settlement. In case of transport principle, it is serving 1.5 of the population of the smaller order settlement. Now let us look into the K equals to 7, that is the administrative principle. Please understand this with the diagram itself. In K equals to 7 administrative principle, if this is the district headquarter, then let us say it's the Khordha collectorate. Khordha collectorate, which is located at the central place, what will happen is that it will have the administrative control of the nearby tehsils. We can call it the block or the tehsils. So it says that apart from in the administrative principle, means that in this arrangement that the market area of the smaller settlement are completely enclosed by the market area of the larger settlement. Efficient administration is the control principle in this hierarchy. It says that if this is the larger place or this is the marketplace, then it will have the administrative control over this smaller marketplaces. It can be marketplaces, it can be anything, or it can be a central place. So basically it says that apart from serving one population, that is all the populations of this entire block or tehsil, it will also serve the population that is within this area. So 6 plus 1, that equals to 7. Hence K equals to 7, the marketing principle. Now what is the applicability and the use of it? It provides a rationale for a selective location and efficient space of function. In terms of functional and behavioral dimension, it has drawn attention to country and inter-town interdependence. This is very simple. It says that it shows how different countries are being dependent, or it also says that it shows that how different towns are interdependent. It encourages order in the spacing and interrelatedness of settlement, where settlement are seen in the wider context. Central place theory seeks to analyze the functional and the hierarchical orderliness in the settlement landscape. Settlement vary in size, function, number, but the centralistic function is sought in the location, economies, social and administrative structure, and their visible and not so visible form is evident in the location of the structure like the church, community, all university, etc. This is a very big point, no need to write this. The central place theory helps us to identify more clearly the role of settlement as a place of trade exchange and the extent to which this has influenced the nature of the emerging settlement pattern. The central place theory again has been used as a guideline for relocation policy, and this was incorporated as an integral part of the regional planning in Germany. It's simple. What is this relocation? Relocation means that when we are when we are developing new cities and we are locating the population. Now, what is the applicability of the CPT in India? See, this was the question that was, I remember that this was asked in your 2016 examination. That what is the applicability of the CPT in India context? See, it says that CPT is normative. What do we mean by the statement? What do we mean by the word normative? Rule based. K equals to 7, K equals to 3, K equals to 4. It's normative in character and so limited in empirical applicability. No real world settlement system can be expected to conform to all the propositions of the central place. Simple. It says that all this K equals to 3, K equals to 4 and K equals to 7, all this concept, it is difficult that we can put this concept and take this concept and easily analyze anything, because such thing is difficult. But still then we'll analyze it. India's hierarchy system is represented from the point of view of the administration and demography. India has 6 levels of hierarchy of the settlement in the administrative level. It says that we have a national capital, state capital, district headquarters, tehsil, block development and Gram Panchayat. Let us analyze first of all is the K equals to 7, that is administrative principle. That is, there is a ratio of 1:7 between the number of settlement of the higher and the lower order settlement. See, when we compare the ratio of the state capital to district headquarters, this is 1:19. So this is not possible. Similarly, if we compare with the block or the tehsil with the Gram Panchayat, again it is 1:40. So hence this is not possible. But when we look at the district headquarters with the tehsil, then we have 1:6. So basically what we are comparing, we are saying that how many districts are there per tehsil. Simple. How many districts are there per tehsil? It says that it is 1.6 approximately. Hence, it is nearby to 1:7 of what? K equals to 7 administrative principle. K equals to 7 administrative principle, as we had discussed, said that a particular CPT will serve the 6 lower order settlements and as well as its own population. So 6 plus 1 equals to done. The spacing between the settlement of the lower and the higher order should increase by the factor of 2:6 in most cases in India. This ratio is much more greater. Here again, the spacing of the tehsil and the district level center confirms to the theory. However, an administrative hierarchy of the place does exist, though the number of spacing of different hierarchical level of the place is far from ideal. Another perspective to the study is a census of population, where system of hierarchy of places is commonly recognized. We have the million plus cities, towns, villages, hamlets. The population size and the settlement bears some relation even though there is the centrality of the place. Understand this. Another prospect of study of the central place is the census of the population, where a hierarchy of places is commonly recognized. We have the million plus cities, next to million plus cities we have the town, next to town we have a village, and next to village we have a hamlet. What is hamlet? It's nothing but a smaller settlement. The population size of the settlement bears some relation even if roughly the centrality of the places. This is another thing. Now let us understand the K equals to marketing principle. The settlement in India shows a close similarity to the theoretical central place system based on the marketing principle. In this system, the ratio of the spacing of the higher order centers to the intermediate lower order center is 1:1.72. What is this? Please understand this. It talks about the spacing. Spacing is nothing but distance. What is the distance between the higher order settlement and the lower order settlement? We can simply write this that as per the Kristall's law, the spacing between the higher order center and the intermediate lower order center is 1:1.72. And in this context, but the actual ratio of spacing varies from 1.41 to 1.83 in case of India, except with two exceptions of villages and medium town. The major exception relates to the million cities, which are in fact the primate cities. We'll study more about the primate cities in the later chapter. So basically what you can say that in the k equals to 3 marketing principle, comma, the spacing principle is applicable. The spacing principle is applicable to the Indian context. In k equals to 3, the k equals 3 marketing principle, the spacing principle is applicable to India, where we have the spacing the spacing that varies from 1.41 to 1.83 respectively. So with this only you can do it. If you do not want to write this entire statement, no need to write it. You can just simply write it what I have dictated. Next, criticism. The theory is majorly criticized for its oversimplification of the real world by making number of assumptions. See, first assumption, it says that the whole world is flat, but in reality the whole world is not flat. It is undulating, means there are the ups and downs. There are mountains, there are plateaus, there are rivers, there are lakes. Large areas of flat areas are rare. The positioning of the settlement is generally random and evenly spaced, contrary to even spacing of the settlement suggested by the Kristaller. It says that there is no even spacing of the settlement. Again, the hexagonal pattern is suited for theoretical development, but in the real world, any other complicated factors are at work. It says that the hexagonal pattern is suited for the theoretical development, means that saying that the sphere of influence is hexagonal, it is only limited, but in the real world many other complicated factors are at work. The concept of perfect competition is untrue in reality, with some firms making more money than others. A hierarchy of the central place. Central places are grouped into the order of second, third and fourth, but these do not match with the theoretical expectation, as there is a definite and clear ranking of the centers within each other. It says that hierarchy of the central place. The central places are grouped into order of the first, second, third, fourth, but this do not match with the theoretical expectations, as there is definite and clear ranking of the centers within each other. It simply says that it's difficult to rank the settlement. This is the simple thing that we can guess out of it. Next, equal sized sphere of influence. It says that as per the theory, it is expected that two-third order centers will have equal sized sphere of influence. Central place theory suggests that each center sphere of influence for its activities at any specific level will be equal in size to each other of the central sphere of influence, but in reality it has been rarely seen. So basically, let us simplify the statement. We can simply say that equal size sphere of influence. It says as per the theory, it is expected that two-thirds of the order centers will have equal size squares of influence, but in reality this has rarely been the case. Next, even higher order centers also functions as lower order centers in the CPT, but often lower order centers have some activities which some higher order centers have in central place theory. See, it simply means that there are certain activities which the lower order place can provide. Let us say a primary healthcare center. A primary healthcare center also exists in the lower order settlement, and it also exists in a higher order settlement. You are able to find primary healthcare center in almost all villages. 9. It says that the consumer travel behavior cannot be projected. In the very first, we have assumed that the consumer will travel less distance to gain the product. It says that affluence, change in the taste and preference of greater mobility, enabling people to travel farther to do shopping. So basically we can say is that if you are writing this point also, it is so far so much sufficient. It simply means that I had given you the example of purchasing a soap from the nearby Kirana store and purchasing the soap from the nearby Reliance retail. Now in this context, I would say that if I am prestige conscious, I would say that purchasing this particular soap from the Kirana, it's not according to my status. If I have to purchase the same soap, I'll go on to a retail center, a retail like the Reliance, and I'm going to purchase it over there. Why? Because I have more money and I do not care if I'm going to travel more. So it says that you cannot say that the consumer will travel less distance or the consumer will travel more distance. 10. Technological change has brought about change in the ways how goods and services are organized and located. It says the example is that supermarket, mall culture, online shopping. See, today what happens is that if I want something from the Mumbai, I can order it from the Mumbai very easily. Amazon, Flipkart, etc. Services that are not available in Bhubaneswar can be availed from Mumbai without traveling, rather sitting at the home through the e-commerce. So it says that that central place that it says that that this the central place says that supposing this is Mumbai, the sphere of influence is this. So this theory says that you cannot limit the sphere of influence because it's the e-commerce age where products can be delivered even at sitting while sitting at the home. Next, government intervention. It says that government is making planning policies, setting up economic and residential base, and this what happens is that actually affects the settlements outside the town. Means again it says that you cannot limit the sphere of influence. Again, Christaller envisages each center with a particular function, whereas such changes with time. It says that that this does not remains constant and it keeps on changing with time. Again, as per Losch, sorry, this is the Losch spelling was wrong. We'll be studying more about the Losch theory in the next class. It is the entrepreneur who is the rational economic creature rather than the consumer. He said that that consumer is the rational economic creature who will travel less distance to gain maximum profit. But Losch says that consumer is not rational economic creature because consumer might not be profit seeking, but on the other hand an entrepreneur, or I would simply say a businessman, that particular businessman, he could be the rational economic creature who runs after profit rather than the consumer. So this is the total technicalities of the central place theory. Now the central place theory was also valid. Let us understand that how far the central place theory was valid. So basically till now we have talked about the central place theory, concepts of the central place theory, and the sphere of influence in the central place theory, that is how the sphere of influence moves from circular to hexagonal. Then we talked about what are the principles for analyzing the central place theory. Then we talked about the criticism of the central place theory. But central place theory was also recognized and was also validated by Losch. Losch says that central place theory was valid in three concepts. First of all was the centrality of the place, range of the goods and services, and threshold population. What is the centrality of the place? That provides goods and service and thus acts as the marketplace. The centrality is directly proportional to the rank of the settlement, as we had discussed earlier. So that concept of the centrality of the place was a valid concept. Next, interrelated to it is the range of the goods and services, that is the gravity field of every goods and services, or the distance from where it attracts the consumer from. See, what consumer from, like the centrality of the places, ranges of goods and services are also increased with the increase in hierarchy. In the threshold population, again I had also discussed about the threshold population. The threshold population was the minimum consumers that we require to basically sustain an establishment or to sustain a business or to sustain the central place. I had given the example of the Mercedes car. So in this context, Christaller said that the threshold population, the range of the goods and services, and the centrality of place are some of the valid concepts that till now exist in today's world. That will be all for today. Thank you.